Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Mia. For those of you who don't know, I run a small business, Blush Designs Co, and I make videos about my daily studio vlogs and my market days. So if those interest you, feel free to subscribe and leave a like on this video if you're enjoying it. I wanted to make a Q&A video for so long, and today is the day. I'm sitting down and answering all of your burning questions. I asked you guys over on Instagram to leave your burning questions that you want me to answer in an upcoming Q&A video, and I also asked you guys on YouTube. So if you're not following me on Instagram, you definitely should, because I do post a lot of polls and question boxes that I don't always get to post on YouTube. So without further ado, let's just get started into all the questions. I have them pulled up on my Notion on my computer. So first things first is, what is the hardest thing about starting a business? And I'm gonna talk about all of these questions kind of from my experience and what it's like running my small business and how I've kind of felt throughout this journey. So this is not like business advice, so please take everything I say with a grain of salt, but I wanted to give you guys my opinion and how I kind of experience things based on my personal experiences. But now we can get started. So in my opinion, the hardest thing about starting a business is most likely the fear of judgment of other people. And I know for me, this was a really big thing as to why I never took my business like 110%. I was afraid of what people in high school were gonna think about me, and if they're gonna be talking about me, or if people in my town are gonna be like, oh my God, like what is she doing? She's posting all this stuff and she has like 100 followers, not even. Like, why is she doing this? It's so embarrassing. Like, all of that stuff was playing in my head, and that really limited my ability to show up on my Instagram and social media and stuff like that every day for my business and really push it out, because I was so afraid of what other people were thinking about me. When in reality, they probably weren't even saying anything about me to begin with, and maybe they were, maybe they weren't, I'll never know, and I don't really care, to be honest. I actually deleted my personal social media accounts, I think back at the beginning of 2022, and that has been the best decision of my life. I don't have any personal social media, no Instagram, no TikTok, no Snapchat, like I don't have any of those. I only have like my business accounts and now obviously my book account. But it's been so nice. I just like, I can post without fearing them. I don't know why, because they could still see my stuff if they wanted to. I have a public account, but like getting rid of that aspect definitely helped me boost myself a little bit and boost my confidence when it comes to like posting online and starting my business and posting about my business to kind of grow it. So in short, because I like to ramble on, I think the hardest thing about a business is technically like starting it and just not being afraid to post online and pursue that business and pursue, like, whether it's content creation, you're doing a service-based business, or you're doing like crochet, sewing, punch needle, whatever it may be. I think the hardest thing is just starting, and I guess my advice to you would be to just start. People are always going to talk about you, whether it's good or bad, whether you hear them or you don't, so you just have to start. Just start that business. I promise you, you will not regret it. It is a fun experience, whether you continue it for 10 years, 5 years, 1 year, a month. It is fun nonetheless, and just, you never know if you will like it or if it will succeed if you never try. What is needed to start vendor events? So I got a lot of questions actually about this, and it's very simple. I think a lot of people go into markets and vendor events, or at least think they're super daunting because they see all these elaborate setups online, but you really don't need a lot to start doing markets or vendor pop-ups. So here's a list of the things that I would suggest you bring to your first pop-up, depending on what kind of pop-up it is. Like if it's outdoor, obviously it's a bit different, but here are the general items you will need. You'll obviously need all the products that you intend to sell. Whatever it is that you're selling, you're gonna need products. You're going to need a table. Like 99% of the time, the vendor host will not supply tables, or like the event will not supply tables. Sometimes they do, but it's very rarely that they do. So I would suggest just having like a 6x2, I think it's 6x2 table. The folding ones, I get them at Canadian Tire. And they also have other sizes too, like 4x2. And you're gonna want a tablecloth, if that could be fitted or loose. There's so many tablecloths on Amazon. I got my pink ones from my setup on Amazon, and I will leave the link to that in my Amazon storefront, which is gonna be in the link as always. So like any products I mention, I'm gonna try my best to link them, or link a product that's close to them, so you guys can check that out. I'll try to rearrange my lists for you. You're gonna need a payment processing system, whether it's Square, Shopify, POS, or Venmo, PayPal. e-transfer. So you're gonna want a way to take payments. A lot of vendor events now try to forego cash and encourage cashless events. So just getting a Square is actually really inexpensive. It's like 50 bucks, I think. And it's so good. I use Square for like 2 years, I think. I just switched to Shopify POS. And that's only because I wanted to have Shopify synced on my in-person events and my online store. But I've used Square and their interface is so amazing. I think you get like a free 30-day trial of the POS Pro as well, which is really good. This is not sponsored by Square, but I love their system. It's such a cute little Square. You can also get like the bigger reader as well. It's a great POS system to have if you're like starting. And honestly, like I see a lot of people who have really big successful pop-ups who still use Square. So anyway, signage is really important for your booth because sometimes customers don't like to talk and ask questions and ask you how much this is or spark any kind of conversation. They just want to look, browse, see how much everything is, see if that's within their budget. They might not want to ask you and they just might feel uncomfortable. So making clear signage about what a product is, how much it costs, and all that stuff would really help, I think, give you the best chance at a market than if you didn't have enough signage or not enough pricing. I've noticed in the past when I didn't have as much signage, I had a lot of people walk in and out of my booth without even looking at me, conversing with me or anything. But I noticed when I have more pricing and more signage, a lot of people stay in the booth, browse, and actually end up purchasing more things. And I can't like 100% contribute that to the signage, but I do think that it has made a big difference. That's pretty much it. I mean, if you're doing an outdoor event, you're probably gonna want a canopy and tent weights. Those are usually mandatory for outdoor events, especially canopy weights. Those are very, very important to have, especially when it's windy. Like my last show was super windy and I had like 40-pound canopy weights. So you definitely want that for an outdoor show. And then you probably want like a phone charger or a portable charger. Next question is, how did I start my business? So I actually started my business off of just like a random whim when I wanna say it was like 17. Back in 2020, I started my business officially on August 12th, I think. I'll put the date here somewhere. I'll double check it when I'm editing, but the first week of August, I think. And I actually had a viral video on TikTok. It had like 2 million views, I think. And it was of me making this like Spotify keychain for one of my best friends at the time. And I was making it for her birthday. And so I made that and it blew up. And then everybody was asking me like, oh my God, like, I want this, like, can you, like, do you sell them? Like, everybody was like, oh my God, you need to open up an Etsy store. Like, I want to order this. And so I did. So then a couple days later, I ended up successfully opening up my Etsy store. I came up with a name and everything for my business. And then actually at first people were following my personal account. And then I made a business Instagram and then people were following that and I got a bunch of followers over there. But I was kind of shocked. I ended up opening an Etsy store and I was getting like so many orders for those like little album stickers. And then I think I said keychain, but I meant sticker. And then I started making keychains and then I started making just drawing stickers of people's pets and their families. And so that's kind of how I started. I just had a video go viral online during that time of year. And yeah, I just like, it has evolved so much since then. Obviously, like I don't sell those stickers anymore. And it's just crazy. Like I have seen so much growth in my business. And I've changed my logo so many times. I've changed my business direction so many times. Like I've changed my product line so many times. I think the only product that has never changed is my stickers icon. I still sell stickers to this day. I don't draw a lot of portraits anymore, but I do sell stickers still. Yeah, that's kind of how I started. It's typical for like that time. A lot of businesses started with like a viral video or something like that. And that's how I started my business. I didn't really intend to start a business, to be honest. It just kind of grew into something that is now my full-time job, but I'm very grateful. Now moving on to the next question. Did I use Etsy before Shopify? And yes, I did. Like I just mentioned, I started my business with Etsy and I would recommend it to people who have handmade products. I think if you have things that aren't necessarily handmade, like if you get them manufactured or you have a supplier, I don't think Etsy is the right place for you because it's basically a handmade marketplace. So a lot of their goods and stuff you want to have handmade items, like that is where you get handmade products. So I would suggest Etsy to people who have handmade businesses. I loved Etsy and I think it worked really well for my business for a year and a half, maybe 2 years. Etsy has changed. They have a lot of fees. Like I could do a whole separate video on Etsy and like all the different ins and outs of them. But I think it was good for the time being. It's good because you don't have to really do anything. Like you post your products, you write in your keywords and you get your pictures all done and they actually bring traffic to you. And I think it's great for people who are starting out as well, because there's not a lot of pressure on you to really market your business. It will help bring you customers. As you build your customer base and build loyalty with those customers, you can definitely switch over to another platform. Another question is, how do I stay motivated every day? And the short answer is I don't. I am not motivated every day. I am actually motivated maybe like 20% of the time. I know that online I seem very bubbly and excited, and which I am. I am a very like happy person, and I love what I do, and my space is beautiful, and I just love being in here. But I am not motivated all the time. It's hard for me to get motivation sometimes. Sometimes I'm just like really in a funk with my health or my personal life, or I'm just stressed out, or I have a lot of work to do and I just don't feel like working. But a lot of the time I just really push myself to get things done. I know that this is my job and I have to. Another thing to help me kind of stay motivated or like re-motivate myself is to take breaks and just get outside, get in nature, read a book, do like a fun craft that isn't for my business. I find that when I do crafts or hobbies that don't coincide with my business, I find I can recharge myself. Sometimes just going for a walk in nature really helps me ground myself and just get a little bit of fresh air, clarity, and gain my inspiration back. So whenever I feel demotivated or in a funk or in a rut, I try to just do things that I really enjoy doing and try to take a little step back from the business. And I find that that usually helps me get back on my feet and get a grip. I also love to organize and clean stuff. So usually if I'm stressed or not in a good mood, I will just start cleaning and organizing stuff. And usually the next day I feel so much better with a clean space, clean mind, and then I can just sit down and get a to-do list going and just get right back on track. Another question that I got was, how do I balance business, social life, and college? It's very hard, to be honest. It's something that I've never really quite learned how to do, and I'm still learning how to do it, but I do notice that when I have a schedule and when I start off with like a master to-do list at the beginning of the week, it does help me kind of get my thoughts on a piece of paper or online, and it helps me like plan out my week so that I know like, here's what I'm doing Monday, here's what I'm doing Tuesday, here's what I'm doing Wednesday, and then I'm able to plan in things with my friends, with my small business friends, with my boyfriend, with my family, and then I can kind of plan things in between. I use my calendar and like my Google Calendar and everything like religiously. I am a calendar planner girly. I plan everything. I love to write things down. I love to have a schedule. I am like a scheduler. I'm a scheduler, okay? And I find that that really helps me because I will plan in things that are like non-negotiable. So like my downtime at night when I have a Pilates class, if I have an appointment, if I have an event to go to, I plan those in my calendar and I work around that. The joy and the flexibility that comes with working for yourself means that I'm able to work an hour in the morning and then work at night, or I'm able to take one day off and then work more the next day, or I'm able to take a few days off and just enjoy my 20s and then continue right back the next day when I come back from being away from work. So that is the flexibility that comes with owning my own business, which I do love. And it helps to have a schedule so that I can get back on track once I'm done, you know, taking a break or going on a vacation. I find that I'm able to then balance it. It does help that I'm on remote college, so I do all my college work online, which is good because I can do that on the weekend, I can do that at night. I'm not having to be in lectures every single day, so I can just read the course material, watch the videos, do all that stuff, do my textbook work, and then just do my quizzes and assignments. So that also helps me a lot, and I just kind of use a schedule that works for me. How did I get started on YouTube and would I recommend it to somebody? I started filming my like daily business tasks back in February of 2023. February 8th was actually the first video I ever uploaded. I'm not really quite sure why I got into doing YouTube. I think it's because people on my Instagram were saying that I should start a small business YouTube channel, and then I just gave in to the peer pressure. So I did start one, and I didn't feel comfortable 100% on the camera, and I whispered in like, I think the first like 6 videos that I ever made, and people would tell me to just like stop whispering because I was talking too quiet. But I just started posting, and I tried not to care what other people were gonna think and if other people were gonna find my videos. I love it. I think it's built such a strong community with all of us queenies over here. I've always wanted to start a YouTube channel even since I was younger. I actually used to have a YouTube channel when I was like 10 or 11. I used to play games like The Sims and Minecraft and record and like upload those. I just love showing the behind the scenes and getting to connect with other small business owners and other business owners who are soon to be business owners, and just other people who just enjoy watching the content that I make. I've loved making all the new connections, and I really love it. I would definitely recommend it to anyone looking to start. Just start. You don't even need any expensive cameras or setups or anything. You could literally use your phone to film and post videos. I think it's been such a great platform and just outlet for me to film and talk and just have a community of people who share the same interests that I do, whether that be punch needles, sewing, crochet. It's just been so nice. I've met so many wonderful people on here, including business owners that are now my friends, and I love the community. So I would definitely recommend starting, whether you make studio vlogs or tutorial videos. Like, I would definitely recommend posting on YouTube if you're a small business owner. I think that it's such a great platform and space to share business stuff. What do I use to film? So I used to use the Sony ZV-1 camera, and then I broke it. So it doesn't really film very good anymore because it makes like a shuddering sound. I don't know why, but I broke it. So then I got the Sony ZV-E10, which is I think like a step up from the Sony ZV-E1. I'm not really like a too big like camera person, so I don't really know. I just know that I saw this on the Best Buy website and it was on sale, so I bought it. And then I use a tripod from Amazon. I have two. I have a smaller one that I use whenever I need to get like lower shots, and then I have my big tripod that like stands on the floor. I will link the tripod, and I'll also link the camera because I think it's on Amazon as well. And then to edit my videos, I use Final Cut Pro, and this was a gift from my mom when I first started my YouTube channel. She got me Final Cut Pro. It's very expensive, so I'm very grateful that she gifted that to me. But yeah, that's all I use. I don't even have a microphone, which I should probably get. How do I advertise and market my products? I don't really use paid advertisements. I just feel like it doesn't really work for my business because I do a lot of handmade stuff. So I feel like making content and, you know, showing that side and like how I make stuff and my launches and the products together in like a more organic setting, I find that advertises my products better for me and shows it more clearly. It's harder to post online and advertise your products, I find, now with social media because of the algorithms. They're so difficult to like get anyone to even see your stuff, especially me on Instagram. It may look like I have 17,000 followers, but honestly, not like 17,000 people aren't seeing my posts every single day. I will be lucky if I get like a good post for the month. So honestly, it's hit or miss. I would say just to kind of continue posting and showing a lot of the behind the scenes of your products if you make them. Showing your face really helps advertise the products. Just creating a community and just connecting with your audience does definitely help promote your products and advertise your products organically. You could also dabble into paid ads. I don't really have any information or any insight onto paid ads because I don't use them myself. I do know that Pinterest is a great paid advertisement platform if you want to dabble in that. Facebook's also good too, but I've found and I've heard better things on Pinterest, so maybe look into doing that. Somebody asked how to promote a launch, and I'm bad at this. So I'm probably not the best person to ask because I will literally post one thing saying I have a launch and then not post about it ever again. So I'm trying to get better at this, and right now I'm trying to actually get better at this with this launch that we are working towards now for the book sleeves and like the bookish launch. So basically what I've done is I've already started teasing the launch and posting a lot of behind the scenes about the photo shoot that I'm doing, the products that I'm working on. I find that maybe I'm going to be posting little sneak peeks of different products that are coming and do some more organic shots of like my products in like an organic way, like maybe at a coffee shop or at a library or at a bookstore, and trying to get some hype that way. And I find that that's a lot more appealing to people as well, instead of just being super salesy. I also think that like having a timeline for your launch, so you can start planning it saying, you know, okay, 2 weeks before launch, this is what I'm going to start doing. A week before launch, this is what I'm going to start doing. Tova from Reborn Club, I'll link her channel down below, and maybe I'll link the video that I'm thinking about in my head right now, but she has a good strategy on how she does her launches, and she posts a lot of like behind the scenes about her launches. So if you are interested in learning more about the like better way to promote your launch, definitely watch her studio vlogs and her launch videos. She's amazing. She's on top of everything. So she's probably a better guide to watch if you are looking to kind of get some inspiration on how to deal with a launch, because I'm really bad at it, if we're being honest. How long before success started to roll in? I think I talked a little bit about this at the beginning of the video, but I kind of hit success right away with my business in that time period or that era of my business. And then it died down. After the whole pandemic thing, I noticed that, after a year and a half, almost 2 years, it started to die down a lot. I was not in a good place mentally. I was really sick and I didn't actually put any effort into my business. I just packed the orders here and there. I got like one every single week and then like packed that one and that was it. I didn't post a lot. I wasn't posting anything on Instagram or TikTok, and I was just trying to fix my health and get better and mentally just work on myself. So for a year I wasn't really posting anything, and so I noticed that significantly hurt my business a little bit. But I have loyal, wonderful customers, followers, friends who still supported me even in the downtime. And then at one point I just was like, what the heck am I doing? Like, this business is meant to help me physically, emotionally. Like, this is what I intended for it to be after a while. Like, this is an outlet for me. This is what I love to do. It's my passion. And then a switch just flipped and I started to work on my business again. I got into punch needle. I changed my whole business pretty much. And after I think about maybe 6 to 8 months of really just like focusing on my business, I saw this growth and success, and I hit 10,000 followers on Instagram. My posts were doing great. Like, I started hand drawing stuff. I started doing punch needle. I started doing wholesale. It was amazing. All the hard work that I finally put in my business paid off, but that wasn't until like 3 years, 3.25 of a year into running my business, Blush Designs. And that's kind of when success started to roll in. And then I think for like maybe the past 8 months, almost a year, I think, I've been able to fully live off of my business income, and it is my full-time job. I pay myself a wage. Like, this is my full-time job basically. And I think that's what I define success as, is if I'm able to make a living and pay my bills with my business. I think success in itself is subjective to everybody, and what may be successful to you is not successful to me, or what may be successful to me you don't consider to be successful. The last 2 questions have to do with finances. I don't talk about finances very often because it stresses me out and it's really boring, but it's necessary, unfortunately. So do I have an accountant? I do have an accountant for tax time. I don't have a bookkeeper or anything. I do my books myself. I use QuickBooks. It's such a slight app, but actually I haven't even updated my QuickBooks in like 2 months, so maybe that's a reminder for me. My tax accountant takes care of like all the nitty-gritty tax stuff. He submits my taxes every year and deals with all of that jazz. And he basically just takes my QuickBooks report for the year and, does whatever he does. And as long as I keep a good track record of my QuickBooks, he's able to go in and input all that stuff and make sure that, the CRA is not going to come for me. And then the last question I have is, how do I keep track of my revenue and expenses? Again, I use QuickBooks for all of that stuff, but it's very boring and too analytical for me. And I like color and charts and all that stuff. So I actually created my own cash flow tracker on Google Sheets. And I have every single month, and I calculate all my different income streams. I do like Patreon, Etsy, Shopify, wholesale, all that, YouTube. And then I also have a section where I go in and I add in all of my transactions, like every individual, and then I have a notes section. So I'm able to see where I'm spending my money. This is helpful when I do my reset videos because I do break that down for you guys. But it's also helpful for me as a small business owner because I tend to do a lot of unnecessary purchases for my business and just random craft stuff that one night at like 10 p.m. I'm like, ooh, I want to try this. And then I end up spending like $300 on that just because I want to. So it does help me kind of, reel it in and figure out where I'm spending my money on, or what things I'm spending a lot of money on in terms of having to restock products and stuff. So it is helpful. It's also helpful for budgeting for launches and stuff because a lot of, the newer products that I have are more higher cost. So it's a lot of money for me to be spending out of my pocket. But yeah, basically that is what I do for my business. These are some of the questions that were asked, and I'm happy that I answered as many as I can. If I answered every single question, this video would probably be days long. So I had to pick some of the most frequently asked questions. If you have any more questions, you can ask them down in the description. down in the comments below, and I will try my best to answer any more questions that you have. I will definitely do more Q&A videos in the future, and if you're interested on getting any more behind the scenes videos and content, I have a Patreon, so you can find that in the link down below, and I post a lot of like behind the scenes content and exclusive videos and podcasts there. So if you're a business owner and looking to get some more BTS, you could definitely check me out there. Thank you for listening to me ramble on for like 25 minutes. I am so grateful that you are interested in learning about business and my experience as a business owner, and I'm excited if you are a future business owner. I think that you should definitely start your business. And if you are already a business owner or not a business owner, I love you very much, no matter who you are. So thank you for being here and watching and supporting my business and my channel. And I will see you guys in next week's video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.